Alright guys, here we go. I figured I would just cover part of this video that I'm going to make. Go ahead and just start off. We're under the car. So the things that we got pretty much done, or that was done yesterday, was, like I said, the rear end was leaking. I went ahead and bought all the fluid for that. As you can see, I have the SVE one. Come to find out, the person who did it didn't tighten the bolts, so it sat. Luckily, it wasn't driven when the motor went, and it sat for that time with the fluid leaking out, and some of the bolts were tight, and I believe the others were just hand tightened or something like that. So luckily, granted, we didn't, had to put new fluid in, but it's less expensive than a, whole new rear end. As you can see, the exhaust is pretty much bolted up. I got to get the new rear tires put on. Still have the old ST suspension sway bar, Viking shocks. If anybody is questioning what I'm running, there's part of the suspension. So there you go. Try to get somewhat of a shot of the drive shaft in there. So what I went ahead and did, that flange right there that you can see, I don't know if you can see that, zoomed in, I changed that. I went ahead and there's a place called Old Dominion Mustang Camaro near me. Found it on eBay, went and picked it up, about $60, $70. Took that flange out, and this is the 03 factory Cobra drive shaft in there, and went and bought a Spicer 1330 to 1350 U-joint. Once the car's on the ground, we'll pretty much know if it works or not, but from what it looks like, it does. So there's about, I think, maybe half an inch of play left, but once the car settles, it should probably push the drive shaft forward, I believe. Like I said, I did take a power washer to the car, went ahead and just put this hood on. I'm actually waiting for a guy to come buy the factory GT hood I have for sale. Hopefully $100, it's pretty cheap for a hood, pretty good condition. That's what the hood looks like pretty much. So yesterday, came by, went ahead and put a new hood release cable on, ran that. Took about, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to do it all together, but pretty much got everything pretty cleaned up. I think what I'm gonna do is get a piece of like plexiglass or something for this, because the filter does sit right here, and if I'm gonna drive this car, I don't want rain to get right into the filter and suck it up. I have no way or no room under here for a shield, obviously, so I'm gonna figure that out. It's not gonna be that hard. So pretty much there. The car has some fluid in it, so I will talk about the rest of this after hopefully this dude shows up in a couple minutes for the hood. So covering a few things I'll probably have to change in the car. These itself are pretty faded. I think that kind of sucks for as much as these taillights cost. They are still like $300 and some. So I think they've gone down a little bit, because I remember they used to be near 400, because I checked actually a couple days ago, because I need to get a new set. The LEDs right here that go around it have either gotten water in them or they're just bad. But both taillights kind of look the same. This is from Carbon Driven. This is good, brand new third brake light, so it's already tinted kind of, which is cool. Guess pop into the interior of the car. I did clean it up some, not to the expect that I wanted. Obviously, before I put the carpet down, I'm gonna go through this, clean the panels and everything. Clean up anything that I need. Luckily, there's no interior really whatsoever to clean up, because once I do the floor pan, clean the dash and steering wheel and stuff like that, carpet should be already good. Seats are brand new. I'm just putting them back in the car because they don't have any ass time in them or seat time. Clean this up. I got the bottom half of this, brand new stuff for the shifter boot, so the lower trim. As you can see, I have the filter covered because of the hood. So these are already silver. They're actually OEM Celine side scoops. I was thinking about trading out my GT ones. The only thing special about the GT one, it has the little Carbon Driven piece in it, but I might just trade them out and keep it. But it was to match this. So once the center console goes on, I still have to find a center console. They're a little on the expensive side, but I'll just find one. Shouldn't be a problem. I have this matching piece to go with that. So what I want to do eventually is, whoever makes, if Carbon Driven does make it, change that out, and then change out the silver parts for that as well. And I will keep, if you remember, if you're kind of an OG, I guess, to this channel from a couple years ago, I found this on Marketplace, the Mach 1 cluster face, not the overlay, or no, it is the overlay, just not the face gauges itself. Got that, so I think we're coming along pretty good, and we're almost there. So I figured I'll just cover this while I'm still waiting. This dude is like 10 minutes out, so Just Bolt On Performance Parts. I've actually ordered only one thing from them years ago for the Coyote swap. I just liked the sticker, and it's actually stayed on there since like 2016, which I thought was kind of dumb to say, but kind of cool. Team Z, everybody wants to know what suspension parts I usually go with, Team Z or UPR. 1320 video, because I'm just a fan of it. Obviously carbon driven, obviously because of the parts I have, and it's silver, so it matches the car. And Staging Lane Performance is actually a guy that I know that does a lot of Coyote work in Richmond, the Richmond area. Really good at what he does, so I thought I'd support him and throw that sticker on. And the other thing that I want to do, you can obviously see the real fadiness of the window. For Mustang Week, that is the plan. So this is actually part of that video. I'm going to cover what I have left to do in the second portion of this video. You can see, like, it's probably, yeah, you can see that right there, obviously. Or I can at least. I want to get these windows retinted. The sadness of this, the tint honestly was on there when I bought the car like 10 years ago, so it just needs to be changed. So the guy's here with the hood, and I'll continue this video later. All right, so covering the last part of this video, obviously you can see the power steering tank is not here. I'm gonna remove this because the filter hits it too much. Probably build a bracket or something right here, and I just need to get hose to lengthen it. But I will make a video or two, obviously going through everything that I've done. But this video is basically just gonna be ended tying everything together of what has happened so far. What is up, guys? Basically, now that I can talk to you, because not a lot of stuff is going on, this video started out obviously different. It started right at the car and stuff like that. The reason for that is I was waiting for somebody to come pick up the hood. Quick transaction, no issues. It was just a factory 99 to 04 GT hood. The same hood that I basically started out with when I had the car when I first bought it. But I'm going to cover pretty much what what I went over in the car. So starting with the interior, I took a power washer a couple days ago and degreased a lot of the car. Got a lot of the stuff off. Interior as well, but I'm going to basically go at it again, just with some probably like chemical guy soap or something like that. Clean it up more. Put the hood on, the True Fiber A70 hood that I bought a little close to 2 years ago. So that fits. The only issue is we're going to have to move the power box down a little bit, the fuse power box in the left corner, so that way it shuts. Yesterday I put a brand new clutch or hood release cable, those are prone to break, and that one was obviously just worn out, so did that. That didn't take that long, maybe like 30 minutes. Let's see what else. So the upper axle bushings are the only thing left that has to be done. That's a pretty quick job. The factory ones were just worn out, and when I had the rear end done, I forgot all about it, and the guy was like, oh yeah, you got to do this. And speaking of that, the reason that the rear was leaking was basically because some of the bolts weren't tightened all the way, so the gasket didn't seal all the way, and then it leaked out. So some of the bolts were tight. I think some of them weren't. I don't know the count of how many bolts were tight and how many weren't, but that's not good. But the good thing is, $40–50 and a gasket and some fluid is a lot cheaper than a rear end, because if I was driving it and didn't check, something like that, anything could have happened. But granted, I'm glad that I had to put fluid in it instead of having to put in a whole new rear because the fluid leaked out. So let's see, battery box is in. So took the battery out. The thing about the battery is it's basically like it sat on the shelf at like a Napa or AutoZone or something like that. I think it's a Napa battery, and it was never used. So charged it up. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I don't have to go get a new battery, but we'll see, when we start the car, if it's charging or not, and see if it holds a charge. Anyways, so we put it on the charger, put that with the new battery box into the trunk, remounted all of that stuff. So that's brand new. Looks a lot better. This doesn't have like a crap ton of stickers and stuff on it, which I'm not going to probably do this time. I might put like 1 or 2 on there, that's it, but probably looks cleaner without it. I think I covered the power steering reservoir tank, basically just moving it because the filter hits it. and probably just, it looks cleaner if the filter's obviously not hitting it. So I went and got more hoses for it, and let's see, covered the hood, the drive shaft. So I'm gonna make like a separate video probably covering that pretty shortly once we figure everything out. But it looks like it fits, and all I did was take a 0304 factory Cobra drive shaft, switch out the U-joint for a factory V6 or GT1. Found one at a local place on eBay actually. Went and picked it up a couple days ago, swapped that over, and then bought a 1330 to 1350 Spicer U-joint off Amazon. That finally came, put it all together, and it bolted right up. So hopefully once the car settles, it pushes the drive shaft a little bit more, like I said earlier in the video, and we'll know whether if I need the UPR or Steeda drive shaft spacer, which I read a lot of people don't use that, but some people did. Maybe it just depends on different applications of the car. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done this or seen this done. So basically, and the rear brakes. So the rear brakes were put on brand new. I bought them off eBay, Detroit axle, whatever. Brakes are brakes. The front ones are C&L, so they're a little nicer, but they are the Cobra brakes because I did upgrade to the 0304 Cobra factory brakes, so that the 13-inch. So this car basically has a lot of Cobra stuff on it. It has a 99 Cobra front bumper, the Cobra brake, the big brake kit setup, the rear bumper, the trunk lid, deck lid, third brake light, of course, the drive shaft now, and the transmission, all out of a 03 Cobra, which is weird. The bumper I bought from a Mystic Chroma Cobra. Obviously the 99 front bumper is from a 99. The deck lid is actually from a silver 03, so luckily I didn't have to paint that. The drive shaft and the transmission are both out of a 03. Different Cobras, obviously, so kind of a theme, I guess, going on. Yeah, so everything's basically together. So it's a matter of, I guess, a couple days or whenever we can get together and just go over there and tighten everything up and drop the rest of the fluid in and start and see what happens. So hopefully pray for the best, but I think it's going to work out just fine. And so Mustang Week, I'm going to try to attend Mustang Week. The only downside with the car is I'm more invested into making sure the car runs correctly and stuff like that, instead of painting the hood and painting basically spots or whatever on the car, like the quarter panel and stuff like that that need paint, obviously, from weathering and all that. So I don't know if I'll get that part done, but I'm more or less just trying to track down a center console, worried about putting the interior back together and just making sure this car is basically all fit together. Because once everything's together, you gotta let it run for at least, I want to say like 45 minutes, make sure there's no leaks, hope for no leaks. I have to go get it aligned, obviously inspected, and that's just a lot. And how I even want to take off the tent, as I said in the video earlier, the tent's horrible. So there's like a few things that I want to do. I still have to basically put new rear tires on it, which I've already have, and then I have to figure out the taillight situation. So still some money of stuff to tie up into that, and I don't know if the budget will work out for paint, which is not a big deal because plenty of people ride around with, you know, primered hoods and stuff like that. It's not a horrible hood. I still have to figure out that plexiglass part, which is pretty, you know, it's not a lot of money or anything like that, but I'm trying to get the main stuff done. And if I have time to basically get the car painted, even just the hood, and then I will. But if I don't, the only part that will be miscolored and look primered is the hood. So, but that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Basically, a video covers everything that I've been doing, everything kind of that I wanted to talk about. So that's why I've waited about a week to post another video. Hopefully the next video that I post, the car will be running, and basically just do a deep dive into that and answering any questions, and then putting the interior back together. I don't know if I'll make a whole video putting the interior back together, but I will make a video talking about everything that I had to do to get this car to work, hoping that it works, because I am confident that it's going to work. Anyways, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, obviously, because I'm posting here and there. And once the car is driving, I'm going to give you my first thoughts and future videos. So have a good one.